No requests. I'm in Salem. You sound happily blissful. I think I am. Is that normal? Not of late. You always seem discontent. You know me too. Well, you know me too well. Salem, Massachusetts. No, just Salem. Salem everywhere though. I believe I am in Ohio this time. Alright guys, welcome back to Book Club. Today is the 5th meeting that we have done. We are reading again, both of me, and today we are refreshing chapters 18 and reading all the way through to chapter 22, and then we stop on page 190 before chapter 22 begins. Alright, so this has been like really interesting for me, these last ones. Again, I always apply whatever I read to my life, and I try to gain I don't know, wisdom or whatever. I try to compare. I try to find a similarity. I look for things that are extremely climactic or extremely depressing in the reading or whatever, to find out basically just to get to the point of what I love most about the book. Okay, so we're gonna move forward, and so when I read that, I want to revisit the point that these guys are actually taking a tour of Salem's, like plural Salem's. They're going to Salem, Ohio, Salem, Wisconsin, Salem, Massachusetts, and I always want to revisit that because I find it really interesting that no matter where they are, they're always in Salem, and I think it's really funny. Like, they always land in a Salem. So yeah, I like that part. Another thing that I like about chapter 18, because this is chapter 18 where I find this, chapter 18, page 154. This is a conversation between FFA and Clara. In this conversation, they find out that FFA is dead. She's like, here we go. No news today. Not today. Yes, Martin is not well. Yes, you have seen my dad, and he is likely an imbecile, but nothing today. Tomorrow you may strike me with a new calamity, such as an explosion on Lower Marbury, but not today. Can you do that, mate? Mate? Marna looks better, but Clara, I'm the imbecile. This is your dad. I've been following your travels, which, by the way, track a lot like my travels. The journal, the map I gave you, do you still have them? I mean, I really missed you. Clara is dead. Sean. Clara, are you still there? Clara? Please. Teeter doesn't speak to me, and they both ask for you. Marna through tears, like she cries when she asks for Clara. Clara, he exclaims. Clara, I need you here. I don't know how to care for them alone. We're losing the family. Clara. Clarita, are you okay? Now this is Elias chiming in. You're rocking. Are you cold? Mom, only a memory. Dad and my confidence, one and the same. It made no sense. My life made no sense. But if FFA was dad, and he said he was dad, there was no escaping it. Dad abandoned us. Yes, perhaps shared a hand in destroying us, but he never lied. He left that for me to do. My body numb, I gently set the laptop into the dirt, stood and zombied onto the road, where I lay face down on the center line. The tar was cool against my skin, a feeling I knew, one I could trust. It didn't matter from which direction a truck came, as long as it came soon. So she said she rather, at this point in her life, she's feeling so depressed by what's happening, she wants to get hit by a truck. I mean, Clara really goes through it. Like, she is a girl with many issues, and yet she feels like she could save someone else. I guess it's because she finds a similarity between herself and this person, or a need in this person, because this person is needy or lacks something, and she finds herself that she's needy and lacks something, and she feels like together they make a complete person or the perfect team or whatever. But either way, she's like a teacher that can't spell, or a teacher that can't count. She wants to show you something, but she can't exactly put it into words. She can't exactly show you what she doesn't know herself. So basically what she's saying is that there's something wrong. I want to express it. I want to, I don't know, like, come together with you on the subject. I want us to feel one and the same about the issue, but I can't express what I'm going through. Kind of like what I just went through, but in the same sense, it's different. So yeah, she's really smart, but at the same time, she's really off a little bit. So yeah. And a truck never came to flatten her, by the way. It turns out that Izzy shows up with a U-Haul in the plane. So remember in the last chapters, Izzy drove off with the car in the plane because of Clara pitched a fit and wanted to get out. So Izzy drove off. So Izzy and Elias were walking and they caught a ride with a farmer in the back of a truck for a couple miles or whatever. And then this is the part where they lay sleeping for a while, and when they wake up, Izzy is there with the vehicle to take them off to the next leg of the journey. Alright, so yeah, moving on. It seems like in this part, like she's really awestruck, like she's really sad, and she can't really get herself together. In the back of her mind or in the front of her face, whatever you want to deal with in front of your face, she's always thinking about her dad and the situation with her mom. Elias asked her, because he's off his medication and he's in between stability and not stable, like he's kind of slipping, but he's not completely gone. He thinks, or he's acting as if he's saddened by her mom's death. She speaks about mom. Let's see if I can find a passage. Elias sat in the corner and shivered. It was cold, but not that cold. His face twitched, and I climbed out of the plane and went to him. I realized I stunk, retreated and dug for a fresh shirt, ducking behind the plane and quickly returning. I knelt at his side. I should have told you about mom earlier. I'm so sorry. Elias's lips turned still. What killed her? I blinked. What killed her? Like she's not dead. A drink? He pushed his hand through his hair. Poison? I suppose. Elias shook his head. She wanted this trip for you. This was not true, but I had no strength to argue. I sat beside Elias and he began to cry. I gathered him near and he shook in my arms, and with every shake the sting in my own eyes sharpened until I could hold back the tears no more. I cried. It had been months since I cried for her. Together we bumped over the road and held each other and sobbed. We bumped over the road. Was it in 10 minutes? No matter. It felt healing and tragic, and I pounded the metal with all my fists. I tried to feel for my mom, but I still couldn't. Alright, so I can relate to this, because, like, when you go through issues, when things surprisingly happen to you, you get kind of blank or kind of dull on the situation. Like, you get so tired of being beat up with the same issue over and over repeatedly that you lose your ability to cry. It's like, I have no feeling for that anymore. You know what I'm saying? I cannot cry about that because I've heard it so much. I'm so done with it that you kind of just feel like, bleh. Like you hurt emotionally, but you have no tears. Like you want to cry so bad because you're feeling so much, but you have no tears for the issue. And so basically that's what it has been for her for a while, and now she's finally broke down and she's cried because she's surprised that Elias can feel for a mom that he doesn't know, and because his crying gives her the ability to just release and cry herself, because there's no shame in crying at this point. So yeah, her dad asked her to come home and help deal with the kids, Marna and her brother and stuff like that, because their sadness. They're sad, and she's not dead, and he feels like he's losing his family because everybody's spread out, and dad's finally home. Alright, so let's revisit another thing. Alright, so again, they're in a U-Haul, they're not in a car anymore. I was telling you that I had issues with, her. I have a couple issues with Clara, because Clara is young, but she's not as young as Elias is. She just isn't. And I don't know, with this new girl Izzy kind of forcing her way into the trip with them, she's become a little bit different. Like, she's acting out. In my opinion, she's acting out. She may not be acting out, but she's acting out in my opinion. Alright. So in this chapter, Izzy bit her lip before joining me and glancing back to Ladia. Ladia is the mother. Peter is the father of Kenton, and they are in Salem, Ohio, and this is where they have stopped. Now, this house that they're at is a part of the Underground Railroad, and this kid, Kenton, who is their son, he's a little bit special needs as well, and he is eccentric, and he is going to take them on a little bit of a journey later on in the book that's really, really interesting. Really interesting. All right, just a moment. All right. So I had to sit on right quick. Alright, so yeah. They keep talking about the light keeper. Light keeper is apparently a human being, a person with some kind of insight into what your issue is that can kind of close the door between your full, complete self and your half self. Like, find whatever your issue is that caused you to have your breaking up mentality. A light keeper, I think, is the person that restores that. So, let's see. So they met Lottie, Peter, and Kenton. All right. Yeah, so she's feeling guilty. She's like, I shook my head, reached out, and stroked his hair. Somewhere inside, he was counting on me. He had listened to me and ditched his medicine. I blinked. London away. Let's catch up. No telling what Izzy might say next. So they kind of moved off away from Izzy. They're hanging out together. She's thinking about what effect she's had on Elias in his life. And she's saying how he gave up his medicine for her. She wants to stop worrying about London, stop worrying about her dad, stop worrying about her mom, and kind of catch up with Elias to see how he's doing, which she really needs to do. She needs to do that. Because he is off his medication and he's acting a little different, like he's crying, which he hadn't done before. All right, so, okay, so they're at this wealthy looking house. It says, it turned out that my new family was wealthy, quite wealthy. Then again, everyone on South Lincoln Avenue appeared to be wealthy and owning a taste for the old. So they're staying in again with this family. And I'm assuming it's like some kind of duplex type of place. I don't know, but we'll get into that more later. It's a nice looking place. And they introduced themselves as brother and sister. So Izzy, Clara, and Elias introduced themselves as brother and sister, but right away Lottie picked up on Clara's London accent. Like, she speaks like she's British or something like that, or, you know, English. I don't know exactly how you say it, but, you know, one of those two. So, let's see. She asks as if she knows Clara's dad, but they're calling him David, so I think they're lying. Like, they're lying, saying they know someone that these people know so that they can stay with them. And they're calling, they're saying Clara has a resemblance to this queen. So this part of Salem, they talk about kings and queens, and it seems kind of made up to me. But I don't have much on that, so we'll revisit that later. All right. So at this point, Izzy's tired, and she's saying she just have enough strength to move the truck, and then she'll just crash up. She'll fall out and go to sleep. And she's like, I have a feeling my brother and sister also need some sleep. Food, Elias said. I really need food, and we accept your kind hospitality. You showing yourself to be a kind and generous citizen of Salem, even in these hard times. All right, so, you know, he always revisits that Salem as it's this magical place or whatever. I dropped my bag on the foyer rug and breathed deeply. It had been so long since I was home, since I felt at home, and as I watched Izzy and Elias roam the bottom floor, I held no fanciful notions that I actually belonged here. Yet in a strange way, I did for this night. I belonged here, and with Elias, I looked up at the rising staircase. Sure, there was a reality that was in England, London, and the events that took place there, festering remembrances of Dad's request, both felt like an anchor. You know, things to keep her center in balance. Elias peeped behind an ornate mirror. He was not the only one to have slipped. I too had fallen through the cracks, and as surely as a resident of Salem as Elias was himself, and I didn't want to return. So she's feeling like she's just as much, you know, wavering in her thought, not so focused, not so balanced, not so sure of herself as Elias is. I shook free, she says. Thanks, Ladia. I'll leave the three of you to your explorations. There are many things to discover in this home. She gazed around the room and folded her arms, giving herself a squeeze. Many things. She turned to me. You can see it's been vacant for quite a few years. There are reasons for that, depending on what you believe about this town. A proper chill took me. If there is something we should know, I would appreciate you telling us so we can sort it out. Lottie thought a moment. What's true? What's rumor? It's all hard to say after 150 years. Just perhaps stay above ground. Like don't go into the basement. And if there's something you wish to tell me, I'm right next door. I promise the result will be better for you than if you tell my husband. Izzy shifted and I said nothing. You're sticking with your tail. Very well. Lottie licked her lips. Peter will be so pleased to see you in person. So Peter is her husband. All right. I don't know what that's about, but here's one. She's still advancing to where Elias gets on my nerves. He ran into my arms and embraced me. I pressed my cheek against his chest. This was all I could hope for. Yes, I was home. He and I, or the other one and I, or searching me and him, or the helping me and him. That's the way she speaks about him. Like he has too many different cells for her to distinguish between the two. So she lumps them all together and saying one of these people is making her feel passionate towards him. All of him with all of me. It felt right, and he buried his face in my hair and breathed heavy against my neck. And a tingle worked its way down my spine, among other places. I slowly eased him back. We're in Salem, Ohio. I balled my fist, breathed deeply, and opened my hands. Okay, some other details you should know. You picked up a guard. Her name is Izzy. She carries a shotgun in her guitar case. Ohio, Izzy, shotgun, got it. He paused. Is my guard pretty? Like he doesn't remember Izzy, he said. I kicked him in the shin. It was involuntary, honest. He reached down and rubbed his leg. Be calm, he hinted. A grin on his face. I was just curious if the other one has good taste like I do. Well, then perhaps she is a tad pretty. Oh, blast. You'll find out soon enough. She is lovely. Elias ran his hand through his hair and gently tapped his head. See, this is where they're going to start making out, because this is how it goes. He lay down beside me, and I turned toward him and pressed into him. I made a contract with myself. We are going to see you through to the end. We are going to find this keeper and scrape together your shared memories, and then you will be you and never leave me again. I told you, that isn't how it... I kissed his neck once and felt his heartbeat faster. It has to be, and in the meantime, do not ever suggest that you'll ever leave me, or that you'll leave again. I kissed him again, and he squirmed. I drew him near and kissed him long and full and deep. His mouth tensed, and I pulled back. Placed my fingers on his lips. Relax here. Let me lead. After all, I am your guide. 5 minutes later, I was lost in this boy. My mind had been given over. He opened his eyes wide. Clara, where are we going? As in, where is this going to lead to, I guess? I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll enjoy it when we arrive. I don't doubt that. It's just there's too little of me. So this is the second time he said that. Like the first time she kissed him, he was really nervous and pushed back, and he told her that it was scary. And then I think you'll enjoy it when we arrive. Yeah, he's mentioned twice that he's a little bit afraid of how their relationship is advancing. He opened his eyes wide. Clara, where are we going? I think you'll enjoy it when we arrive. And this is when he says, I don't. This is where he mentioned that he doesn't think it's going to work out. It's like I'm never home. I'm a sailor, and I come home after long trips. But for the rest of the time, he's trying to tell her, like, he doesn't feel like a man all the time. You know, like he wants it sometimes, but not all the time. And I wrap my arms around him from behind. I know who you are. I know who I am. I kissed his ear and sat back. Help me, Elias. I lifted my shirt and raised my arms. Elias? Yeah, he turned and froze. He reached for my shirt and quickly pulled it back into place. So he's just not for it. He's not going for it. He's not ready for it. He's too young. He's still in school. He's still in now. Like he's still in the basics in school and everything. He's not ready for this yet. He's an older, high functioning, special needs person, but he's not ready for this, and I'm right there with him. I don't think that they should have this relationship, but they're close enough in age that she can be attracted to him. It's just weird. So they move forward with the kissing and making out and stuff. She's mounted him at this point. She's on top of him, making out with him and stuff, and David walks in and catches the two of them. Yeah. Peter, excuse me. I know David and his wife were not able to have children. It has been like they're talking about, this is Peter telling them that he knows that they're not David's kids and they can't be related because they're making out. He's like, is this normal for you guys? Like, do you normally do this type of stuff? And they're like, no, David's been caught. So we're into chapter 21 right now. And he's like, I called this meeting to give you one last chance to come clean. To Elias about this, like, you were in a compromising position. Do you feel taken advantage of, basically? And Elias is defensive and he does not want to say that. He's like, we'll just leave. My guard and my guide will just leave. So he volunteers to leave, and Peter's like, go ahead and go. Ladia wants them to meet Kenton first, so they go for it. It's a little bit rushed, but when they meet Kenton, Kenton first meets them by busting through the wall of, kind of like Lion Witch in a wardrobe, of a closet. Not busting through the wall, but falling out of a closet, like toppling out with a flashlight and like a miner's helmet on his head with a light on the front, covered in slit. A muffled voice forced itself from behind the door. So it's the 17th left and then a right. 17th left and then a right. The closet door flew open and a boy tumbled out. The light from his miner's hat temporarily blinded me. I blinked away the light spot. The boy was short and stocky and filthy, his cheeks covered with either soot or dirt. He seemed unaffected by two people in his room, or by the presence of two strangers. Two people in my room, two people I don't know in my room. He paused, but the 17th left and then the right. He ran to his desk, reached over Elias and grabbed a piece of paper and began a frantic scribble. Done. He slowly turned. Alright, so after this point, the guys introduce themselves and then they start to basically embark on this little journey. The floor creaked and the closet felt dank and cool. I looked down and my light illuminated, not carpet but dirt, 10 feet down. This is his closet now. Tunnel. So in Kenton's house in Salem, Ohio, they are actually on top of what is part of the Underground Railroad that the slaves traveled back in the times of, I don't know, the 1940s, I believe it is. The 1940s. Okay, so he's going to take them on a journey in which they're going to find the skeleton of an adult and a child. The wall in an underground tunnel that they try to follow from underneath his bedroom out to another house where Izzy has parked the truck. And they encounter voices that they're hearing of the dead who have passed away in the tunnel. So you're not supposed to hear them, but they kind of hear them. It's kind of like ghosts. The tunnel becomes so scary for her that she actually says, I want my dad. Like, she's about to cry. She's about at her breaking point, wanting her dad so badly. And then she stops herself. She's like, no, I won't ever give him that positive saying, I love you again. And she's like, Dad, I love you. But she doesn't finish the sentence because, you know, she has that blockage issue with him. Towards the end of the story, Kenton swallows hard, and he starts to discuss how it's just him alone with his parents there. He's like, it's just me in these tunnels. It feels good. He's like, my parents, they think I'm crazy. They're perfect, you know, and I'm this freak. The night fell silent, and so the longer they stood, the smaller my earlier kiss became. Twice now, both in the tower and in the tunnel, I had given boys exactly what they'd always requested. A kiss. Alright, so you know she kissed Kenton and she kissed Elias. Elias smiled. Kenton pressed into his chest. Elias pulled out his sketchbook and pencil. He looked at Kenton and 5 minutes later gently tore the drawing from the pad. He handed it to Kenton, whose eyes grew wide. Seriously. Elias smiled. Kenton pressed it into his chest. Okay, yeah, okay. He started to cry, dirt on his cheeks smearing to mud. I need to get back. He carefully folded the gift and raised it in the air. Thanks, Elias. It was a time for my gentle gesture. Izzy and Elias had both extended a farewell moment to Kenton, but standing there, I suddenly felt the needy one. The empty-handed outsider, the shared freak who threw out kisses like currency. I love this book a whole lot. Like, it's starting to really get interesting. I'm really getting into it. I love chapter 2 before going forward. I wanted to go ahead and finish that tonight, but I didn't get a chance to because, you know, I get tired sometimes. But I have not gotten any questions back from it, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward. I will see you guys next week for 22. I'm going to ask you again this question because it's the thing that just like, it aggravates me the most. What do you think about Elias and Clara dating? Do you think that she's, you know, the age is going to be a problem, the mental stability is going to be a problem, her forcefulness and his meekness is going to be a problem? What do you think? So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. This is already a 30-minute video. Thank you so much for sitting through it. And you guys have a great night.